Welcome to Lights in the Night with your host, Russell Johnson. Uncover the truth about alien contact and hear from insiders who reveal the evidence. Stay tuned.
Well, welcome again to Lights in the Night. Nice to have you once again. And today we're going to keep it simple. We're going to do a lot of basic stuff. We've got a gentleman with us. Not only is he an entrepreneur and really steeped in the Bitcoin arena, and he even knows something about some new blockchains even being developed. And we might not talk about all of that. We won't have time to talk about all that. But there's a lot of research being done on the Bitcoin, on XY, XRP, and all that, et cetera, et cetera. But he's an entrepreneur, and he does very well in life. But on the side, he's a researcher. He's always keeping up with the UFO stuff. And I'm going to ask him why. And he's been doing this for decades. To keep when most people ignored it, didn't think it's real, don't think there's anything to it. As a matter of fact, if we were to go back to the Brookings Institute of 1961 when they did a report to Congress, and when we go back to the Robinson report by the CIA that put out in 1953, most people would dismiss the fact that he even mentions UFO or aliens or any of that. They would really be dismissive of it. I mean, they would think you were a crackpot, some kind of nut. And if you were in the service, they put you under Section 8, meaning that you couldn't operate an aircraft, or you couldn't be a controller, you couldn't be anywhere near anything that's dealing with the security of the United States, the intelligence community. Anyway, so welcome, Brian. Welcome to Lights of the Night. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to be here. Let me ask you, you're an entrepreneur. How did you get far afield from being an entrepreneur to get off to researching this stuff for the last 20 years or so? What prompted you to do that?
Well, it's just mostly curiosity.
Uh-huh.
Starting from a little kid.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you're in the church and you're into the Bible and you're trying to understand the Bible and everything that's in the Bible, and you start breaking things down and getting translations of different things within the Bible, then it really piques your curiosity about what does all this stuff mean and where does it all come from. And then when you start diving deeper into it, it has to be something outside of what we experience here, And so as you follow the thread to all these different things, you find out there is another presence outside of this planet. And so then that starts your journey down that rabbit hole of finding out about other existences before, mankind. So, and it's just inevitable that you're going to find out more about other things other than here, just based on TV shows and movies, because things are always presented to you in a way for you to go and find out other information. This is
Yeah,
how we gather information.
right. So the question is, if as an entrepreneur, you're in a different world, Bitcoin and all that jazz, and doing business and doing very well in your life, on the threshold of seeing some new things coming along. Do you think that the Bitcoin, since when it was developed in 2008, 2009, and was 5 cents a coin, now today is what, it's $100,000 for that same coin?
Yeah, over 100,000. That's
Okay,
right.
so it was 5 cents then, and they said it was on the blockchain, and they got the white paper, and this guy, Satoshi Nakamoto, had created it. Nobody knows who he is, even up today, right? So, do you think, since he's anonymous, hiding somewhere with all the Bitcoin that he's holding, do you think an AI did it? Do you think an alien did it? I mean, it's a stretch of imagination. What do you think?
Well, you can't rule out anything.
Uh,
Especially, I mean, somebody knows that, but we're just not finding out about it, and there's a reason for that, I'm sure.
uh-huh.
But at this point, when you don't know, anything is possible. You know,
True.
I'm like this. I'm like this. This is my philosophy. You know, belief is based on ignorance, right?
Okay.
So if you believe in something, that's because you really don't know,
I
and you
got.
have to gather as much information as you can to form a belief,
Uh huh.
right? But if you know something and you know of it in a surety of it, then you don't have to believe it,
I see.
and that's my philosophy. So you gather as much information as you can to form an intelligent belief system, until you actually know for surety, then you don't have to believe anymore. You know.
Okay, well, here's a big question then. As the people see, I call the show UFO 101 because we
Right.
basically kindergarten. We're just beginning,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And
Exactly.
you know some of the big people out there like Billy Carson and
Right.
Stephen Greer and Laura Eisenhower and Linda Mutenhauer. You know all those people. You researched it the
Yes.
last 20 years. What do you think
Yes.
about those people that have been out there for 20, 30, 40, 50 years researching it? How do you look up David Wilcock, Corey Good? What do you think
Right.
about these people?
Well, I think that they've done the work.
Uh,
They've done all the hard stuff that most people can't or will not do.
okay,
So therefore, you have to look at their work. This is how we gain knowledge and information. And
right.
again, is getting that information to form your belief system. You don't have to believe those people, but you
Hmm.
have to, take an account of the information they've went and gotten gathered.
Hmm.
So, we have to take that in and put that into our lexicon, and then see what your belief system comes up with. That's how I do it.
Okay, that's excellent. Then, since we a basic show, what would you tell people to do when they have the congressional hearings now, and then Donald
Mhm.
Trump, your president, decided to put another armed forces system together called this Space Force. Now you got the Army,
Right.
the Navy, the Coast Guard, now the Space Force, um, and there's a reason why he did that, and there's a reason why he. Some people are saying that he's going to come out and talk about all of this pretty soon. What is your take on this?
Well, I think it's long overdue, really.
Okay,
At least talk about it,
right.
and especially in the mainstream media.
Hmm.
A lot of times the mainstream media, it controls the information that gets out to people. And so, in order to find out anything, a lot of times we have to go to the internet and gather our information. And some of that information is bad, some of it is good, and you
Hmm.
have to decipher what's wrong and right.
Hmm.
But at least if you bring in, this type of topic on the mainstream media in this way, now it brings more awareness to people, because that's what we need, more awareness. and
Hmm.
and not to make you think that you're crazy because you think there's some outside entity other than what we know of on this planet.
But you mentioned, and what you just said was so poignant and relevant in today's world. I would say that 80% of the people on the planet would say, would doubt seriously whether there are any other species in
Oh yeah.
the far, far strong galaxies out here.
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying I hope it's different, but I'm saying that what happened to you when you started having the curiosity and started doing research? What kind of feedback did you get from people in the church in your community?
well well, the first thing that I recognize is that most people have been conditioned to think a certain way.
Right.
And when you start thinking or saying things differently than everybody else, because they're so conditioned, they look at you like you got some kind of horns on your head or something,
Hmm.
or that you're crazy. And so and you have to fight that kind of mentality when you're going forward with this type of information, because and I've had to learn the hard way, because I dove in this real deep at one point and learned so much so quickly
Hmm.
that your first instinct is to go out here and tell everybody, to give them your revelation of what you found out.
I got
And when you go out there and do that, people are not ready for it because they've been conditioned and they're not ready for that type of information just yet, no matter how basic it is. And
Right.
so, therefore, it can come back on you trying to exert what you've learned to them to try to tell them about what you learned, and they don't accept it, and then that can be detrimental to your own psyche sometimes. So you got to fight through that.
So when you become the messenger of something new, as Jesus and Krishna, Baha'u'llah, and Muhammad or Zoroaster or even Joseph Smith with the Church of the Latter-day Saints, when they come with something new, then you become the enemy and they make you
Yeah,
do what
it's a
Socrates had
challenge.
to do. You drink the poison.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a challenge. It's a
Right. It's a
challenge
challenge.
because
Okay.
they're so conditioned,
Right.
and people don't want to expand out of their own point of view.
Okay. All right. Now, and then, but it's not totally their fault because they do
No,
watch Jerry Springer, the 60-second rerun of I Love Lucy, right? And they think that's real, right?
right.
So when you say that's false, that's not real, then you become the enemy. Is that right?
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. Well, not necessarily the enemy, but you're outside of their purview when it comes to things like this.
Okay.
And so they think of you differently a little bit because they don't understand what you're talking about. They
Okay.
only gravitate to what they're conditioned to gravitate to.
All right.
They got to break out of their own conditioning.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like, did
Yeah.
you ever watch the show by what's his name? I can't. It's called I can't think of his name. He said good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever his name is.
Paul Harvey, I think his
No,
name.
no, it was a actor, and he was doing a show. Good morning. I can't think of it. He used to call himself the cable guy. Remember?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. So he was in a movie that he was being observed. Remember? Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, I think
He was
the Truman Show or something
Yes,
like that.
Truman Show. Right.
There
Okay.
you go.
So basically, that's where we are. We're in the Truman Show.
Oh,
Would
no
you,
question.
tell us more
That's
about
a
that?
great analogy to me.
Okay,
You
tell
know,
us more about that. And,
yeah,
and go ahead.
the reason why I say that is because that's a good analogy to how people are conditioned. Psychologically conditioned, because they're put in this false reality
Right.
of perception of what people perceive that they're doing and they're saying, and is they're like in a little bubble,
Hmm.
okay, that they
Hmm.
don't realize they're in. It's
Hmm.
almost like the movie The Matrix.
Right.
People are trapped in the Matrix and
Okay.
don't know it, until they get out of it, and then they can see that they were really trapped in this whole separate reality,
Hmm.
outside of reality. So
Yeah.
it's mind-boggling.
Well, speaking of that, then, do you think you've heard since you've been doing a couple decades of research that this is the prison planet, and Zachariah Sitchins and Chariot of the Gods. They say this is a planet. We are the experiment. Did you ever hear that?
Yeah, I've heard that many times in
What,
many
what do you
different
think about
ways.
that? Are we
Well, I mean, at this point, anything is possible.
okay?
But as you gain more and more knowledge and more information, that's either going to become more clear that it is, or it's just leading you to another area of information, that we need to learn about. But everything is based on perception.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
as you learn more and more and more, your perception becomes more clear, or it leads to other information to
All right.
bring more clarity to the
Well, help me
situation.
to help people. The people who are new to all of this, what would you suggest they do? That's a big question. What would you, the average citizen, the average person who goes to your churches, whatever, AME Church, Baptist, whatever it is, Episcopalian, Catholic Church, they're locked in, looking at the world one way. When we are talking about aliens from other parts of the universe coming to this planet, like the Anunnaki,
Mhm.
as said 400,000 years ago, and they came and made us or helped modify our behavior. What would you tell them to do? to catch up with all of
Um,
this?
I think the best thing to me and what I've done is to have an open mind.
Okay.
You know, be open to other information and ask questions, because the more questions that you ask, the more open you become to the information that comes into you. And then that way you can better analyze all the information that's coming, and don't be overwhelmed by the information.
Okay. Okay.
Take in what you can, analyze it, and then move forward and keep gaining more and more information. And as you do that, you'll uplift your conscious
Okay.
awareness about what's going on around you,
Okay.
and
Okay.
things start to look differently. And that's when you know that you're really, elevating yourself consciously, because you having this open mind and taking in all this information.
Right. Would you, you say you watch? We talked earlier. Billy Carson is out there. Stephen
Right,
Greer is out there. Who,
right,
even Michael Seller. Who would you
right.
tell them to go listen to? Because everybody's got a pod. I mean, a ton of podcasts now
Right.
arriving on the scene. So, who would you recommend for people as the newbies just tuning in? What would you tell them
Um,
to do?
wow, that's a good question, because there's so many out there.
It is. It
And
is.
and 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 I would say, you know, go to the person that resonates with you, that you can connect with, based on how they present their information. And so you may have to go through several different people till you find someone that you can really resonate with. And then, start attaining that information, and then that'll lead you to others. And then as you open up, you'll gain more and more from other people and what they're talking about, because it's all talking about the same thing.
Okay.
It's just saying things differently to where you can connect with. And so
Okay.
that's my thing. Find the person that you can resonate with.
Well, it, I should call this school UFO school classroom. That's a not
Mhm.
good title. It should
Yeah.
be instead of Lights of the Night. I should call it UFO classroom.
Yeah, because it's all a learning experience.
It's a learning situation. So Billy Carson, give us some insight on Billy Carson. Would you tell people to listen to his shows, Billy
Oh yeah,
Carson?
definitely, definitely. The reason
Why?
why is because Billy has gone to these places. Is you read things in textbooks about certain places, they could tell you anything,
Mm,
okay? But Billy has actually gone there. He takes you there on video, and he documents everything as well. So, and he takes groups of people with him
oh,
to
okay.
verify the information that he's getting. So it's just not him alone. So I really admire that. And he's put himself in a position to be able to do that and to educate others, and take them on field trips so
Okay.
they can get this information firsthand,
Excellent.
you know?
Excellent.
Yeah, so I like that.
How about Stephen Greer? He's been out there 25 years. He used to be a doctor in the ER center somewhere in Alexander, Virginia. He left it, and he's been researching this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the
Yeah.
last 25 years. And he has a website, and he has some documentaries out there. Did you ever watch Unacknowledged?
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
How about the? Go ahead.
Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. And just like Billy Carson, Stephen Greer actually goes to these places. Actually talks to the insiders. He has connections to people within the governments and other institutions
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
he, one on one with. So he has all of this information at his disposal. Some things he can't say for reasons that we know, but he puts out as much as he possibly can, and he's
What are
very
some of those reasons? I was going to get that because I don't want to skip over that. When I talk about the Robinson report that the CIA put together in 1953, and they can Google that and pull it up, and then Robinson report says, if we find out, we being overseers of the world, the CIA,
Mhm.
FBI, whatever, or NSA, we cannot tell these people any information. Why did they make that decision not to tell us if they have that information?
well. To me, whenever you don't want to tell the truth about something and you make the excuse that people can't handle it, then you have a whole different agenda behind you.
Oh,
To me, And that's one of the reasons why the information doesn't get out, because people that hold that information have a different agenda. The truth is the truth. Some people can't handle it, and most people can. You
Hmm.
know, and it will organically correct itself as time goes on, as
Okay.
people get the truth.
What do you think the truth is? I mean, in a nutshell, that as Michael Seller, Stephen Greer, Billy Carson, Linda Moulton Howe, I'm thinking about the great great granddaughter of Eisenhower, Laura Eisenhower.
Right.
She knows all of this stuff. What do you think about her? And then what do you think the truth is that she knows that the other parties don't want us to know it yet?
Yeah. Well,
I
their
know.
truth is more about people that they know that they've encountered, other beings from other places,
Okay.
and that's their truth.
Okay.
That may not be my truth because I've never been in that position,
Okay.
but that's their truth, and everybody has their own truth, and you can't disregard people's truth, because the truth is what you believe to be the truth. And so I just accept that information and I put it into my lexicon, and then I form my belief about their truth. Until I experience that for myself, then that becomes my truth.
Okay. Okay. So, have you think you've been abducted?
I can't say that I have,
Okay. Okay. But
but I
when
can't say that I haven't either.
right, because when
Because
they
a lot
do
of people that get abducted, they don't remember, right?
right, they block your
Right.
memory. Yeah. And
So you
and
don't know.
Dr. Jacobs, I guess you know the Walton story, right? Fire in the Sky, the motion picture,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Or Communion, right?
Right. I've heard of that one too.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard
So
of it.
those are motion pictures that the people who have written those books and made those motion pictures say it is true.
Yeah, they're
So
trying to put their truth out,
right,
and that's how truth comes out. You
right,
understand, any truth that someone puts out, that's the only way we're going to learn about it.
right,
Until you have the experience yourself, and if you have the experience, then how are you going to get your truth out?
right.
The same way,
Okay,
books, podcasts, movies. That's
right,
how you get the truth out.
right. If you were, do you think you'll do a podcast one of these days
Um,
based
I
on your
may
info?
I may go that route one day.
One day, yeah,
People
yeah.
have been pushing me to, but I haven't made that leap just yet. But I'm still learning like everybody else, and
Right.
putting myself in position. So we'll
Uh,
see one day.
right. Who else would you got? David Good, Corey Good, David Wilcox, David Icke, all that. Who would you, if in a sentence or two, give me some recommendations for a novice just getting started? Where can they go and get some material, or who should they listen to? A
Well, you've
novice.
named you've named the prominent ones
Okay.
already. Linda Howe, she's a good source to go to, as well, and some other names that's escaping me right off the top. But
Sure.
but you've named the main ones, I think, that people should go to.
Well, there's a website I would also go to look at some books. It's called nohoax.net. That George Green left before he left. He was in
Okay.
contact with the Palladians and other species, and he put together a ton of books. A lot of you can download and just read through it. So, but it's there free. There's no cost for
Right.
that. I
Right.
would also say Dr. Greer put out Unacknowledged.
Right.
700 million people have watched that so far. And this latest one is The Lost Century. And about 1 billion people have
Right.
watched that. He put that out about a
Well,
couple of
well,
years. Go
well.
ahead.
One person that did come to my mind,
Yes.
that really has enlightened me on a lot of stuff as well, is Aaron Apke. I
Oh,
don't know
oh,
if you've ever heard of him, but Aaron Apke, he does an excellent job of articulating, you know, other life, and other ways of looking at things. So you can find him on YouTube as well, and
okay.
he's really deep into the law of one.
Oh, the Law of One. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yes.
David Wilcox
David
talked about
Wilcox.
all
Yeah.
that Law of
Hmm.
One. Yeah, that's a big
Right.
one. That's a big one. Even Elizabeth
Definitely.
April talks about that a lot, the Law
Hmm.
of One. And I think Dolores Cannon talked about the Law of One. Remember Dolores
Yes.
Cannon? Yeah.
Yes. Matter of fact, I think Aaron Apke and her got together one day, one
Oh,
time.
is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Could you spell her name for us? I haven't heard of her. Or
Oh
just
no, Aaron Apke is a guy.
oh, it's a guy. Oh,
Is
sorry.
yeah, Aaron, and
Okay.
Apke is Abke.
Okay.
Aaron Apke.
Well,
Yeah.
again, this is UFO 101. This is the basic. This is like preschool. And that's why I want people to get this kind of information to begin to consider the
Right.
ramifications after Trump, your president, will begin to announce the fact that he met aliens and he's come to tell you that they are here on the planet Earth. Would you believe that he's going to do that?
Well, let's see if it happens.
Well, he
Let's see
did
if it
start
happens.
well, and
At
that,
least he started the conversation, right?
but he put together the Space Force as a legitimate arm
Right.
of the U.S., right? So that was in 2019. So, and this shirt says Space Force, right? So I
Okay.
remember the Space Force. So,
So we're
this-
moving in the right direction, right?
so I think he was reelected to tell you that he and Musk have met with aliens, and they're going to tell you that it's true that they are here. Now, how do you think people are going to handle that? Tell me, give me some indications. What do we got?
Oh,
2 minutes? 1 minute. They got 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay. Yeah. Well, people are going to handle it in different ways because, like I said, people have been conditioned. But, people are starting to wake up. They're starting to break out of that conditioning. And that takes time. That's over time. You know what I'm saying? Because the people start to experience. You can't tell people what is.
Okay.
In order for them to really get it, they have to experience it.
Okay.
And so they have to experience this information. And
It's
this is the
been
best way to do it.
it's been an honor to have you, and I appreciate you being here to
It's
help
been a
us.
pleasure. And thank you for doing this.
Yeah, and no,
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
gratified that you took your time out of your busy day to help us to see things a little clearly before the president and makes the announcement. So thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Freddie. Thank you.
Good
Appreciate
stuff,
it.
guys. Good stuff.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for being with us. See you next
Take
week.
care.
Same time, same place.
Lights in the Night is brought to you by Super Patch, revolutionizing wellness through cutting-edge neurotech patches that help you feel, move, and live better. Whether you're seeking improved balance, energy, or overall well-being, Super Patch has a solution for you. For more information, call 56130-22588 or visit us online at ufo.superpatch.com. Take the first step to a better you with Super Patch.
Thank you for joining us on Lights in the Night. Keep your eyes on the skies and stay curious. Until next time, good night.